Can we do an episode and stop talking about NFTs, please?
Sure.
All right, Luca Nation. Let's welcome you guys back to another episode of Luca's Tigers and Bronze, LTB, as our
LTB.
Loyal, passionate fans call us. And today's a great day, and I think it's going to be a great episode because we've got a ton of things to talk about. We promised you that we'll be talking a little bit about NFTs and everything. Cage's take on NFTs, and today's a perfect day to do that. I don't know if you saw, Cage. DraftKings is actually launching their own NFT marketplace. So kind of an
That's
interesting
pretty cool.
move.
Listen, you hear what Gary's saying, right? I mean, that it's basically going to be like everybody's going to issue tickets this way. It's cheaper to do it. Everything's going to be NFT. And I did not know about DraftKings, but did you see that the Toronto Raptors announced that they were doing their own NFTs? It's keys. They I saw it on Twitter. It's like the Toronto Raptors 6 keys, and it's 6 different kind of keys, 6 different like experiences or whatever it is. It's like, I mean, everyone's doing it. The Mavericks are in on it. I guess why the hell not?
What do the keys unlock?
I don't know. They didn't give details, but it's like each one's gonna have different experience. I would imagine each one is gonna have a different type of VIP experience and that kind of stuff. I mean, I could take a look if you like. I didn't know we were going in there, but when you say DraftKings, I know I read something on Twitter from the Raptors account, and it was like, these cool like blue, red, white keys. It was like a cool looking thing. So
let's do this. Let's talk a little bit about Giannis. Let's talk.
Yeah.
You'll give your take on NFTs, and we'll go from there. See how the episode plays out, and then we'll get to plays. I have a really good play today, though. I think you guys are going to be excited for. So Giannis, Cage. I mean, first off, like where my mind went, and this is probably not exactly where it should go. I'm like, this is what a true champion looks like, and to me, it made me realize how overrated Kevin Durant and Kevin Durant's legacy truly is.
Ooh, why do you go straight from one to the other? You always do that. You always do that. Like it's and there's a lot of people out there who love Durant, and Durant might still, be the guy that everybody thinks he's going to be. And we said that we compared, but I mean, just because Giannis is great, we don't have to like blow out Durant's candle. Just let Giannis's light shine on its own.
All right, positive, Paul.
I am. I'm doing my thing. You know where I'm going to buy Giannis. I'm going to buy Giannis cards, but not because he won the championship, not because he scored 50, not because he dropped a 50 piece, right?
With 5 blocks.
It's not
Savage
the 50
blocks.
Piece. So it's the 50 piece after. So he did. If you ask me, hey, Cage, you won the championship, right? Besides Disney World, you do the commercial. You just won the NBA championship. You dropped the 50 piece, right? You had 5 blocks. You basically put this team and the city on your back, and you brought a championship home after half a century, right? You got people in chat saying you're the greatest Milwaukee athlete ever. How quickly we forget about Brett Favre. But it is what it is.
You mean Kareem?
Kareem only won one with those guys. And, there were better Bucks than him. And remember, Aaron Rodgers is a great player. Bart Starr was a great player. But not to get too much off the track. If you said, Cage, you just won a championship, what do? You know what I do? I don't go to sleep. I stay up all night. I wind up taking the trophy with me to Chick-fil-A and having a 50 piece at Chick-fil-A. And you know what Giannis did? Exactly that. He slept. He didn't go to sleep. He stayed up all night. He took the trophy to Chick-fil-A, and he's eating chicken nuggets and taking pictures with the Chick-fil-A employees, holding up his trophy. Now, if that's not the guy I'm supposed to root for, I don't know. I don't know what is. I'll be a front runner.
Cage says because we do a daily show, we say so many things that we can't even claim that our predictions are true. But I'll tell you guys, Luca Nation, this is 2 back-to-back championships that oh my God, Cage, your headphone.
Hey now.
Moment of silence for Cage's soda drinking. But this is 2 championships in a row, 2 NBA playoffs in a row where I've been really, really spot on. And I got to give the credit to my hard work. It really comes down to watching the games. I really believe that. And this is such a good story, man. Like, just Giannis' story in general is a 30 for 30 movie in and of itself. But like, I got to respect how he's battled through adversity. How he's found ways to. What are you so confused about?
You said Suns in 4. What are you talking about? You said Suns in 4. You've said it like 50 times. Suns in 4. Suns in 4. You said it's gonna be Suns in 4, and now you're gonna take credit for it being the Bucks. What's the matter with you?
What to me is the most respectful thing of this whole NBA playoffs for Giannis is there's very few superstars out there that play harder the worse their offensive game is, and that's what you saw from Giannis, him affecting the game in different ways, even when his shot was off. And what's so cool was seeing it all come together in the end and culminate with a 50-point game where he went 17 from 19 from the free throw line after the entire playoffs he struggled shooting. That was pretty cool, Cage.
It's like a rope-a-dope. It was a rope-a-dope. It was like Muhammad Ali. He's like, he's letting him come in. He's not losing. He's getting mad, right? He's a rope-a-dope. So basically, he waited until game 6 and said, "Go ahead, keep fouling me." I was pretending I can't shoot free throws. Look, I can shoot these. I can shoot them just fine. You see what happened there? I figured out how to shoot free throws. Like, what the hell happened? How does that happen? Remember I said it was mental?
It's not mental. It's streaky. Like,
I mean, he couldn't miss yesterday. He was Jeff Hornacek. Couldn't miss.
It happens. It's not as crazy as it seems. I know people love the free throw thing, but I mean, hats off. And I got to give hats off to Coach Buttholzer too, because I don't agree with all of his decisions. And there's specific kind of instances where I was like, why are you playing this guy and stuff like that? But he kept the team together. And Cage, they went 0-1 down to the Hawks. They went down 0-2 to the Nets. They went down 0-2 to the Suns. And those are all series they came back and won. And you got to give credit to the team, the leadership, whatever was behind the scenes that kept that team together. So I couldn't be happier.
So here's what I'll say about the Giannis thing. You definitely predicted it. You gave him as a play a bunch of times, and you definitely have been.
By the way, guys, if you're out there listening to our daily listener, I can't remember exactly when it was, but I definitely gave the Prism Giannis PSA 10 as a play around 1,100, 1,200. I think it was during the Atlanta Hawks series. So, guys, let me know what episode that is, if you can.
What's funny is, right, I listened to so many episodes looking for this today because we talk about Giannis. Giannis is in the title. Giannis is in the description. But I don't know if I went back far enough. I wanted to listen to 11 different episodes today to try to find this play for Andrew so that he can come on and say he was right. We know he made it, but I needed to find the actual.
I love the feeling of being right because I hope, Cage, I got to tell you, I love the feeling of being right because I hope others on the other end profited from that.
Yeah. Well, I played the episode that was the day after Giannis got injured, and you talk about this being like a 30 for 30, right? Talk about this being like a Disney movie, right? Giannis's life, his career, just this year, even coming back from COVID and bubble and whatnot. But if you hear, I mean, just what we were talking about, we said the Bucks have to show up. Right, that this team relies on Giannis more than anybody else, and you were saying how his knee looked really bad. You had a similar knee injury, and I was saying how we both kind of said when he walked off, wow, you want to talk about really putting on your shoulders there, right? I mean, walking off even though you're in that much pain. I read articles that saying the Bucks season is done, his season's done, the Bucks season's done, and they came out the next day and they won that game, and you could say that the game after where he wasn't there might have been the most important game, right? Because they could have easily just, packed it in. So let's give a little credit to the rest of the team.
100%. Drew
Holiday showed up. I mean, some games he was invisible and some games he really showed
Cage,
up.
That's what the casual fan misses. And that's why it's really frustrating and also, I guess, an opportunity. Drew, his offensive game was so streaky, right? One game he was he put up 30 points. The other game he put up 11 on terrible shooting. But basketball is this beautiful sport that other sports don't have. Hockey has this too, where you could impact the game in different ways, even when your shot's not going well. And that's what these guys do. Drew Holiday locked up the best offensive player on the other team every single game. Every single game.
Here's what I'll say, right? Again, you got to give Giannis his due. I'm not trying to take away from any of those guys, right? There are the playoffs, right? It's a centrifuge, right? You don't know what that word is? Okay. Well, so,
centrifuge.
Yeah, you can look it up if you like. You're usually the one using big words and talking about books and stuff like that. So
a centrifuge is a device that uses centrifugal force to separate various components of a liquid.
Correct. Right? So Well, have you ever been on a ride at a carnival where your back is up against the wall and it spins in a circle and it's centrifugal force, right? So that's what it is. That's basically a large centrifuge. But basically what it does is, it takes out impurities. It shows your true self, right? You use this to have your, if you spin a liquid, the particles will fall to the bottom. Here's the deal, right? The playoffs, they do this for players, right? And Giannis stood tall when Chris Paul and Devin Booker did not. And in this gauntlet of the playoffs, I find it funny. I know we posted a thing a while ago, Devin Booker as a ghost, like Devin Booker disappearing. We posted it on the Instagram page, like, where's Devin Booker? I mean, yes, let's give Drew Holiday some credit, but maybe it's because it was their first time there. Maybe it was the first time in the big stage. Booker and Chris Paul, disappointing, and Giannis, everything you could have expected from him and more.
So you're hitting all my favorite topics. So this was topic number 2. Chris Paul, very disappointing because especially at the end of the game, you guys need to remember the game was tied after the third quarter. He did, we call him the point god.
Yep.
He was kind of in the shadows, in the darkness. He didn't go get the ball as much. He had turnovers. So Chris Paul, I agree, was very disappointing when they needed him. Devin Booker is actually my play of the day today. And this is how you guys are going to make money. So I'm going to Card Ladder right now as I explain to you why Devin Booker is my play on 2 fronts. It's both price action, but it's also an explanation to why Cage said he disappeared. And he absolutely did. He disappeared from the game. He was complaining to the refs. People need to realize NBA season's 82 games. That's a long time. And the way the refs call the games in the regular season is not the same way that the refs call the games in the playoffs. And it's not even close to the way that the refs call the games in the finals. And there's this important component of playing through contact, right? There was a ton of contact. In a regular season game, Devin Booker would have had 35 points, probably 20 of them would have been from the free throw line. But when you're looking for contact instead of playing through contact, you're not going to get those calls in the finals. And I think this is really helpful for him because I think he's going to come back next season. And after being smothered by Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and PJ Tucker, he's going to go against defenders that are way lower caliber. He has the experience and the memory of what just happened. So he's gotten better as an offensive player, but he's also going to get a lot of those calls. So it's a learning lesson. It's really hard to we don't think it is, but like Kobe in his first playoffs, he airballed the ball 5 times. So there's a learning curve. There's a process. It's physical. It's mental. It's understanding the game. The Bucks haven't gotten to playoffs to the finals before, but they've gotten to the playoffs, and they've talked about that adversity, that they've learned how to be resilient. And you saw that. How many times was Giannis hacked last game, and how many times did he finish at the rim through the contact? That's a big, subtle difference.
It's weird, man. I guess you can't do it all game. I have friends who are, casual basketball fans. They were texting me during the game saying, why do they go away from Giannis on the inside? Giannis can literally get to the rim anytime he wants. And they go up by 10. And then either Giannis goes out of the game or Giannis is in the game and he just disappears. He starts taking jump shots and all of a sudden they allow the Suns to get in. Like why doesn't the coach just say, keep dumping it in? They cannot stop it. But you're right. It's how the game is being called. It's how the game is being played. How much do you blame somebody like Chris Paul for that, who's supposed to be the point guard? At one point, I saw his stats. He was like 10 of 17 for like 20-something points. He did not have a bad statistical game, and I don't want to say that, right? But ultimately, the points don't really matter if you lose. And I think at a point in the game where it's late in the game, fourth quarter, and they see that how it's being called, don't you? And maybe Ayton in foul trouble is problematic because you can't really dump it inside to Frank Kaminsky and hope for too much, right? But do you switch it up? Do you go bigger? Should we take the ball out of Cam Johnson's wild hands? He's athletic, but it's great to be athletic and fly, but you got to make a shot every once in a while. That guy's as streaky as it gets. Does it come down to Chris Paul? And is it the coach? Was it Monty Williams' fault for not telling these guys, all right, the refs are calling you? And another one, your Devin Booker play, I love it, but you're the first to admit the dude can't shoot threes.
He doesn't shoot threes, but
and when he needed to yesterday, I was thinking about you saying this, right? So I'll give you more credit. You said to me, "Hey, I watched Booker's game. Why does he only shoot 3-pointers every game? I mean, this was an off camera conversation we had.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, let's talk about Booker. I like the guy, but why is he not shooting threes? In today's game, he's like the antithesis of what you'd want out there. The guy could score 70, but he's not doing it from 3, right? Like, how come he's not shooting 3-pointers? And then here you are. Yesterday, they're down and they need to start shooting threes at the end of the game, and he's missing because he's.
When he gets the ball at the 3-point line, he pump fakes and gets to the lane. He loves getting to that mid range, which I get, but he has to work hard for his shots. There's on your point. So why I get on Kevin Durant is, and I'm probably
we're talking about Devin Booker. You go to Durant.
Just stay with me. Just stay with me, bro.
Okay.
There's physical limitations in the game, and then there's mental limitations. When there's physical limitations, there's only so much you can do. Mental limitations, you have more opportunity to fix those. So with Durant, to me, his limitations are mental. Okay, it's his mindset of not being a competitor and not taking over the game every single game, which he can do. He has those physical talents to do it. 7 foot. Durant is as good of a defender as he is an offensive player if he really wanted to play. With Chris Paul, as much as you want to blame him, the responsibility falls on his shoulders. Look at his physical stature compared to the other guys. Yep. He's 6 foot. He's not very strong. Like, remember he was trying to get to the ref and Bobby Portis basically just stood there and Chris Paul couldn't move him. He's maxing out his physical limitations, physical abilities, competing against Giannis, who's a beast. Drew Holiday, he's a beast. Drew Holiday is one of the strongest players in the league. If you ask
Drew Holiday should have had, if this was a regular season game, he would have fouled out in the first quarter. And that's your point about how the refs call it different in the playoffs.
Scott Foster is a trip in and of itself, but physically, Chris Paul doesn't have enough to when maybe his shot's not going, I could get to the rim and dunk, or passing. Like, it seems like passing is super easy, but it's not. Like, why is Jokic such a good passer? Well, because he sees over the defense, right? Why are quarterbacks? Why are they tall? So he could throw over the offensive line. These are physical Russell Wilson and Drew Brees. They've had to learn different skills because they didn't have that physical ability. So same thing in basketball. So as much as the responsibility is on Chris Paul, he's just physically limited.
Okay. So Booker's your play. Specific base.
Yeah, but like, look at this cage. So 717, okay? The base was $1,059, okay? Mm-hmm. The high was 1,300 on 710, which is when they got to the finals. The low in the last 3 months, according to card ladder data, was 638. Okay, that was on 6-4. Today, the card is 797. So just 1 day ago, it was 1,059, and now it's $800. Cool. Let's go to the silver. And card ladder. This is free data. I also recommend subscribing to. So you get to see more data, I think over a year or lifetime, but this is 3 months.
And if you pay, you don't just see more data. They got pictures of Chris on there. You get to see.
Do you know Chris and Josh are actually pretty big guys? Apparently they're like 6'3".
Yeah, I've seen pictures. Yeah. So what are you saying? I should stop. I'm going to see him this week at the National. I should not say that if you get the VIP membership, there's pictures of Chris included. You think they're going to kick my ass?
In my head, I think that there's going to eventually be like a 3-on-3, 2-on-2 basketball tournament, and I think that they're going to be the most difficult team. Card Talk, we're going to destroy.
This guy.
Sasha Talmud on his 1 or 2 man crew is going to get rocked. But those Chris Hodge and Josh they're not going to be.
Because you want to know what I'm afraid of? That you know who their threesome? It's Christina's PC, and she's going to dunk on you. She is going to throw one down on your head. That's what's going to happen. That's what I'm most afraid of.
Now let's talk about the Booker Silver. So the Booker Silver was 6,400. It was 6,600 at its high, or right around 7,000. And then last night there was a sale for $4,385.
Wow.
So to me, this is how the rich may get richer. They don't buy Giannis after the bell last night. They buy him when Andrew gave you a play for $1,200 for his base. And they buy Cage is holding back a smile. I love that.
I love because you're referring to yourself in the third person. I love it. You buy it when Andrew tells you to buy.
But they buy Devin Booker when his cards were oversold. And this guy is 24 years old, has a bright future, has an offensive game and an offensive repertoire unlike any we've seen in a long time. Honestly, he's going to be a great player. He's got a lot of potential. He's got a lot of work to do. to polish out that offensive game, but I think he's got it. That's one of my plays of today. I have 2 plays. That's one of my plays. Is the Booker. If you could get the silver, get the silver. If not, go for the base. You could even wait maybe 1 or 2 weeks, but that to me is clear data from Card Ladder that both the Prism and the silver are oversold.
You want to make your second play now? Because I'm not sticking in basketball. My play is
okay. Give me your top 5 centers in the league.
Currently?
Yep.
Are there 5 centers? I don't do so the Joker. Joker's number 1. Shaquille O'Neal. No, Shaq doesn't count, right? I mean, he would be a top 5 center if he was playing.
No.
So Joker, let's be real honest. Can I count Durant as a center?
Nope.
Not really, right?
Durant's not a center.
Durant, he's 7 foot tall. I don't care
where
you put him out.
Durant plays like a small forward.
I'm gonna put him in there. Let's see. What other centers are there? I mean, obviously you got Joker. Embiid's a good center. Ayton really showed up in these playoffs. I don't know if I put him in the top 5, but I can't. I'm having a hard time coming up with
Anthony Davis.
5.
Anthony Davis.
Davis is a center. He's sort of like power forward. All right, so
He's
Davis definitely top 5. Who else? Who else centers? Just give me a sec. I'll try to think about it. Like, who plays center for the Knicks? I don't even know. Maybe Brook Lopez. Does he count? Brook Lopez is sort of a center, right? Does he make the top 5? I don't even know. There's so few true centers out there.
The fact that you don't know is actually kind of it's fascinating, and it tells me everything that we need to know about my play. And it's the same year as Devin Booker, and it's Karl Anthony Towns.
Is he a center? That's the thing about the NBA, man. These guys, they don't really play positions anymore. Like there's really.
You've asked, is he a center about every single guy that we've listed?
Yeah, because there are no real positions. You know what I'm saying here. I mean, I guess he's a center, but
big man.
Yeah, all right. So he's definitely a big man.
It's actually, I'm on Card Ladder. His cards have appreciated a little bit, which shows me that there's some offseason buying and speculation going on before next season, which is only 90 days away, guys, which is crazy to think about. NBA season is 3 months away. But that's my play. 2015, Karl Anthony Towns. And this is a play that I actually would sell in the lead up to the NBA season or maybe in the first 10 to 15 games. Here's the thing. Karl Anthony Towns is good, and he's really good. And a lot of the Timberwolves' lack of success is that they haven't had any continuity. He's been injured. They have been rebuilding, and they don't have a lot of talent. But they have a decent core now to build around with Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards. Who knows if Ben Simmons ends up going there? This team is 2, 3, 4 years away from really being anywhere, but please don't hold for that long. I expect Karl Anthony Towns to come out next season and start to have these conversations around have we been sleeping on him? He's going to be putting up 25 and 10, double guy. And the thing that Jokic, I think, did was open the door for the market to invest in big men. Okay? So that's my play. I think Karl Anthony Towns has a lot of talent. He's young, and his cards are severely, severely underpriced because of last year's lack of performance.
I should know the center position better than this because I do love a big man. So in any event, I love your plays, and not because I think Devin Booker is going to be the next Kobe or because Karl Anthony Towns is handsome. I like the rationale behind the plays, right? I like the reasoning behind the plays. It's almost cyclical plays. It's almost oversold kind of plays. You give a strategy, right? Towns, that team has been terrible, but they're going to be on the upswing. But you're not holding it for 2 years. You're giving specifics to it, right? It's buy it now when no one's looking and sell it in 3 months in the lead up to the season or when the season just starts and he goes out there and has 4 straight 20-point, 10 rebound games in the first week, right? You explain why Booker is now being beaten up because people overbought him, hoping that he would win the championship, and now that he didn't, he's oversold, right? So that's good because there are other guys. If you don't want to buy Devin Booker, maybe Ayton's cards will come down for the same reason, right? If you're an Ayton believer, right? If you want to go with the big man strategy, right? There's more to it than just the name and the card that you're putting out there, and that's kind of where I want to go. Also, I spent some time last night at the Bleecker trading night, right? It was awesome. Trade night at Bleecker, and had a good time. Came home smelling like cigars, and lots of great conversation, lots of great trading. towards the end of the night, I'm like, I got to make a deal. I'm smoking a cigar. I got to celebrate. I'm celebrating my deal here. Like, I brought a lot of stuff, with me for my collection, but I brought some, what I call like liquid cards. And I always like to try to, make a deal in someone else's favor. I did this the last couple trade nights. I do it again. If it's a sale, buy a bunch in bulk, and I'll deal in your favor. And I met a couple guys from Hot Corner, a store in Brooklyn, which I used to go to as a kid with my father. I didn't even know it was still there. It's amazing. But a couple kids from Hot Corner, you can follow them on Instagram if you like. And they're like, "Oh, what do you got? You trading?" They had great, boxes of stuff. They were selling to Leighton. Selling Leighton. I think Leighton was trying to buy a Gretzky rookie from them. Maybe. I mean, everybody had some cool cards for trade. And the liquid cards that I had there I had a stack of 5 Tatis rookie PSA 10s and a stack of 5 Acuna PSA 10s. Right. So I've given Acuna as my play. So he'll be what I talk about again, and then I'll give another one. It's timing your plays and also feeling out the market, right? So I put Tatis down on the table, and we looked at comps, and the comps are like 150s, some 170s. That's probably going to be on its back up, and it'll probably be $200 soon, you name it. But you guys know I have Tatis. I don't have many more of them, but I have a stack of 5 of them. I probably have 1 or 2 left here in my house, but 5. Let me get some cash. Let me, make a deal. And, at 150 would be $750. I'm like, all right, well, you know what? I'll do better than that on one. If you take all 5, how about $600? Cheap, $120. You're not going to get that anywhere else. Of course, they jumped all over it. So now I get the stack of 5 Acuna there, and Tatis, he's in favor of the MVP. You name it, he's having a great year. These guys, they probably flipped the card. I put the stack of Acunas there, and I'm ready to, blow out those Acunas. 5 of them, I'll give $100 each or something like that. Like just here you go, $500. You get 5 Acuna PSA 10s. Nobody wanted them, right? Nobody wanted them. Nobody wanted to touch Acuna, right? And it's interesting, right? Because to me, we always talk about supply and demand. There's no demand, but that's a guy there will be demand for again. And if there's no demand, and that's the kind of card that people were stacking, people were buying up, people were have hundreds of, right? And they're going to National this week, or they're going to another show the week after, or whenever it is, even in the off season, right? You got to expect he's going to come back, and maybe he'll be somebody in the off season people are looking for. But you have to take advantage of that injury. You have to take advantage of the fact that you just learned people are not buying him. You're not going to have much competition. The competition, that's a buyer's market for Acuna, right? And here's another play. I've given this one, and you guys know I own a bunch of these, so I'm not going to buy this after giving this play, and it's not something I'm trying to talk up or talk into existence. It's already happened. But Andrew had a great talking point when we were talking about fractional the other day, right? We were talking about how there was the ability to make money on fractional in the secondary market, on collectible, with not only the Mickey Mantle that they sold, but also the Jordan that came after, right? So, hey, get in on Jordan, get in on Mantle, get in on these things, because what happens is the card goes up, fractional goes up. The card goes down, the fractional goes down. The card goes up again, your fractional is going to follow it. That's kind of what happened, right? So you have this window of being able to trade. So take it out of fractional for a second, right? And just talk about that with the regular market. There are leading indicator cards, right? Like that Jordan card. That's a good indicator that things are going to move back up. Supply got, disappeared. Ken Goldie came out and did a video about it, right? Then you see other cards, the LeBron Chromes going down as low as like 11 or 12, and they start to go back up 15, 16, 18. You see them selling for, right? And I don't own any of those, but obviously they're going back up. You see the refractors start to move back up. You'll probably start to see Kobe stuff move back up. You know what's funny? There are cards that went up in this. And Andrew talked about this in a different episode, saying how, if you missed it in February and you're sitting there in March or April saying, wow, I wish I got in. Well, a couple of weeks ago, you said, get in now. And now you have your opportunity to get back in your DeLorean and get that card at the price you missed it at the end. You thought it was a bargain then. Wow, you missed it. So one of the cards, and I could probably name 50 of these cards, but I want you guys to look up these cards. They're the ones you wanted to...
It's a set of criteria is what you just created.
Yeah, and you can research this, right?
Yeah.
And I'll give you one great example, but like I said, I could probably give you 50 of them. It's cards that ran up. It's iconic cards. It's blue chip cards. You don't want to get garbage cards, but it's iconic and blue chip cards that were stagnant for a while and ran up during this this December, January, February. It hit a peak, and they've come down, but they have not caught that bump back up yet, but you can expect based on all of this other data that's out there that they are going to be next to do that. And the perfect example I give, and you guys, if you listen to us enough, you probably know where I'm going because it's one of the few cards I still have multiples of. It's just an example, the 1992 Bowman Mariano Rivera, right? That card was as high as like $1,700, $1,800 for that when we were hitting our peak. Last week, I saw them selling in the 500s again. I mean, we're talking about like a real discount. $600, nobody auctions in the high fives. Now they may start to curve back up, and I'm not telling you it's going to go back to 1,700 next week. But if you can take advantage of somebody selling those at $500, it doesn't have to get to 700. I mean, maybe you have to buy it at 600. Maybe it goes back to 1,200, and you've just doubled your money on a guy you don't have to worry about tearing his ACL, on a guy you don't have to worry about whether or not he's going to win any championships, and a guy you don't have to worry about whether or not he's going to get into the Hall of Fame as the only player to ever get in unanimously. Like I said, that's just one example, and I'm not telling you to rush out and buy that card. It's just one that's easy for me to talk about because I know that card. But Barry Sanders' 89 score is another one, right? If you want to go into football, right? Any of these guys that are like, GOAT, borderline GOAT, top of their game, Hall of Famers, guys that people collected that have been beaten down and they're not the ones that are the leaders to bring this back up, but they'll be the followers. They'll rising tide if it goes back up again. You can get these cards at huge discounts now.
Who's your play?
My play was Acuna specifically, but I've given Acuna a bunch of times, so I wanted to make I don't want to like go back to that well.
You went strategy today.
But
is a very
unlike that Acuna play, but it had me thinking more about like there's an opportunity now. There's a window, and that window may be a week. That window may be 2 weeks because you can see it. You can see in the numbers. You can see in the engagement, right? You can see in what's going on in the hobby on Instagram. You can see there's some more optimism about cards. Maybe it's because of the national. People are having fun. I mean, myself personally, in the last couple of weeks, I was interviewed by some French news outlet at Bleaker Trading. I'm on like Yahoo Sports, search Cage lawyer, it comes up, right? Last night I was interviewed by some Japanese media at Bleaker Trading, right, about Shohei Ohtani. That's all they wanted to talk about. I obliged.
Turns out he could be a star even without speaking perfect English, right?
Yeah, he could be a star. I'm on Card Porn Heroes. Lameme made me a meme today. We still got more. Top Shot moments to give out. But the point is, we're having fun, right? There was a time there where there was a little less fun, right? There was a little less interaction. Maybe people were a little worried, right? And we were talking about, hey, the bubble burst. Will it ever come back? And there are signs of life, right? I'm hoping it's not a dead cat bounce. We talk about that in the market, right? I'm hoping this is just like a sustained kind of, back up on the backswing. But the point is that, what Andrew's telling you about jumping in on these cards, that's a strategy. My strategy is if you believe that we've hit the bottom, right, and we're working our way back up, then there is a small window of opportunity open now for you to get in on things. Just like there's a small opportunity when the collectible secondary window opens and the Michael Jordan card is at 26 a share and it's going to go to 38. You got to jump in when you jump in. You got to, because that window's going to close on you. It's the same thing. That's a microcosm. This is macro here, right? This is, we're talking about you have to find those cards that just haven't been bought yet and be the first one to buy them.
And have the liquidity, right? A lot of those times the window isn't for junior level cards, even though sometimes there is junior, the kind of lower tier cards. Sometimes the window is in those $500 to $5,000 cards. And you need to have that liquidity on hand to capitalize.
Listen, I'll be the first one to say it. There's a million podcasters, a million content people out there. I'll be the first one to say it. I think base is going to make a comeback. And I'm going to regret that I sold everyone at base cards. I think what Trey's base cards are selling for now is it's a shame. I think what Zion's cards are selling for, and I know there's a huge number and it's a huge mountain and there's plenty more PSA. And I'm not saying it's going to happen even this year, but I think with all the stuff that's coming in now, as far as like making these things liquid, as far as making a 10, a 10, a 10, as far as like gamifying these cards, basically making it into a stock market. I think that having those base cards, means something. Be the actual stock of the player. I think that's going to come back in vogue. And also, when there's a new entry into the marketplace, when there's a new market participant, it's the easiest thing for them to get in, right? It's like buying a share of something. It's great to talk about, and everyone was right. You're all right. You're all geniuses. That the way to go was numbered cards and logo men and gold prism. Yes, you're right, 100%. But guess what? 99% of the market participants can't do that. And if people come back and more people get involved, the base is the easiest way to get in. Go ahead.
Also, base never left. It just got ahead of itself by a lot more than we're used to.
Yep.
Luca Prisms are still 50x what they were just 2 or 3 years ago. So like base never left. I'm with you. Let's talk about NFTs and dead cat bounces. I'm worried Top Shot is a dead cat waiting to die even more. But NFTs and NFT market in general.
Listen, I'll talk about Top Shot. I will. And Lamine put me out there today, which is great. I really believed in Top Shot. They did one good thing in the last month. They did this thing for the Suns. They brought Suns fans who like had collector score Suns fans to the to Game 5. I think they had 8 of them, 10 of them, whatever it is. They had enough collector scores, random chosen, the whole deal, and that's a good way of showing utility, partnering up with a team, and the whole deal. But unfortunately, when you've built up this user base of 500,000 people, helping out 5 just doesn't cut it, right? And do a little comparison. You and I talked about the Panini blockchain. It has its warts also, and hopefully they're quicker to fix them. We also talk about liquidity, right? It's in and out on PayPal, and there's an auction. You want out of something, you list it, and 24 hours later, it's not yours anymore. Whatever the market says.
Amazing first point. So I have a Bradley Beal serial number 1 right now.
Yep.
It's an impossible card to sell. It's an impossible moment to sell when there's no liquidity in the market.
Yeah, you would have to list it basically every day and then relist it $5 less, $10 less. You'd have to do it that way, which who wants to do that? And I mean, I know I was not the first one on this platform, but I know when I got on, people were clamoring for auction style or make an offer. Panini want to offer, you know what I mean? Let people make an offer, right? And that is a huge problem with it because it also hampers your ability to really value those things, right? They do a lot of stuff right, but they do a lot of stuff wrong. And I don't know if they're focusing on, keeping the NBA players happy who have been involved in it. I don't know what they're focusing on exactly, but there are a few little changes that they could make that would really help them. And in addition, I mean, they grew and they had a lot of numbers, but they really ramped up the numbers on these things. I mean, we're here talking about, a Zion PSA 10 has a pop of 18,000, right? And how's it ever going to be worth money? Well, the last Zion, Top Shot moment they came out had more than twice that amount. 40,000 of them, and that was
his 17th moment.
It still may grow. Those numbers still may go up. Well, I saw a funny thing about somebody posted it. I apologize. I'm not going to give you credit for it. I'll look and maybe I'll post who it was. But it was like Giannis, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, 4-time, All NBA, all these accolades, and it said, and the bottom line was 675 Top Shot moments, 675 different Top Shot moments, because he's basically got like 1,000 moments on there. So
I didn't like and guys, we're not. I hope this comes off the right way. So just to put it in the right bucket, not at all upset or resentful.
No,
and in fact, it was quite a successful project. But we have a duty. And I'm learning that's a responsibility to our community, that we just have to tell it how it is and hopefully help people make money. But more important, you don't want to help. If you see something, you want to spare people from avoiding to lose money or fall into pits that you've fallen into. And I didn't like that they're much less engaged on social media now that things are, I don't know, slower or whatever it is. When things were good and prices were booming, they seemed like the internal team seemed like they were having the time of their lives.
Well, think about it, right? They got their big announcement. Michael Jordan's investing. A group of investors, including Michael Jordan, is investing. Well, what the hell happened? What'd you do with that money? What'd you do with Michael Jordan? Where's the Jordan moments?
Yeah, $350 million is how much they got.
So, I mean, good for them. But I think their product was better before they got that money. I think their engagement was better. sometimes that happens. Sometimes that happens. You grab that brass ring and you take your foot off the gas. But
what do you make of what is your take? So Top Shot aside, anything on NFTs? So Cage, you've dabbled a little bit, right? So Top Shot. I mean, in January, you didn't even know what Bitcoin or Ethereum was. Top Shot. Then Twitter apparently felt Jack Dorsey loves you, so he sent you a Twitter NFT.
No, he just knows I'm jiggly. He knows I'm jiggly, so I got to jiggle. I got a Twitter jiggle.
Not for long. Stop describing yourself like that. The way you talk about yourself.
I'm going to be down 40 pounds for the national.
Yes, you will.
I was 252.8. I'm down 36 pounds. Thank you, Luca Nation Fit Fam, for all of your help, all your inspiration, all your fun on that.
225 is the real goal by the end of the year.
Yeah, but 248.8 by national, that's a 40-pound weight loss. I'll take that. Since May 4th.
I'll celebrate it for the day, but we have bigger goals in front.
No, we're going to celebrate. I'm celebrating by eating. I'm celebrating by gaining 10 of it back while we're in Chicago for 3 days. Let's go. No, so NFTs. Look, I hate to say it, but Gary and a lot of folks are right? I don't want to say that it's a Web 3.0, whatever the heck he's calling it, right? A lot of these things are going to fail. I mean, Twitter. Sometimes I expect NFT Twitter to eat itself. Right? You knew Top Shot had problems when Jack Settleman and Cryptoed were fighting with each other about who got VIP status, right? I think I posted that on. You can check it out on my page. But this week there was something minted. I forget what it was. What was the NFT where allegedly it was done by a 12-year-old, and then everybody was going crazy because it's oh, this 12-year-old minted this, and it's no, he's not really 12. And the price went from half an Ethereum down to 27 cents. And then it turns out he really was a 12-year-old who did the project. And it went back up. I'm trying to remember what the heck it was. But it was just amazing to watch the 24-hour period of all these guys in crypto. And you know who I watched? Remember we had Plunge Father on, from the Plunge In, right? And he was huge in Top Shot. And he was doing that stuff. Well, he got into Bored Apes. And then he got into the cats, and he was in this, and I follow him, and I see the ups and the downs of I don't want to go to sleep because if I do, this thing's gonna go down to 27 cents, and I'm gonna wake up and it's not gonna be worth anything. I'll have to look at what it was. Can't believe I'm forgetting, what it was that got minted. I
can't even throw you a lifeline because I don't know.
There's so much fatigue in it. There's these 10,000 NFT, avatar type NFTs, right? Where basically following the lead of CryptoPunks, where everybody's coming out with a different type of avatar. And Bored Ape succeeded. CryptoPunks are there. Cool cats are doing VFriends. But there are so many other copycats, and eventually a lot of people will be left holding the bag on this stuff, and a lot of them are just going to fail because they're all just copying the same thing. It's just go ahead.
What do you think of? So I don't know if you saw this. A CryptoPunk is going to be fractionalized on Rally.
I mean, what kind is it? Is it an ape? Is it an alien?
It's a CryptoPunk.
Yes. Okay. There are certain rare ones that are more valuable. So maybe it's one of those. Do you know which kind of punk it is?
I will find out for you.
No, it's okay.
It was one of 4,000 women punks who have a specific hair and are smoking.
Oh, lovely. Okay.
Does that help? Here it is. So NFTs meet fractional alt investing. Meet CryptoPunk 9670 coming soon on Rally Road. Number to 10,000. Punks launched in 2017 as one of the first Ether NFTs. 9670 is one of 3,840 females and one of 10 females with crazy hair and nerd glasses.
There you go. All right, so it's a rarity. So the kid was Obi-Wan Kenobi, and the project was Weird Whales. I'm telling you, look it up. It was a very interesting synopsis of what Twitter can do on these NFT projects. Here's one of these kind of things, Everybody was like, wow, it's a 12-year-old. We got to get in on this. It's awesome. It's amazing. And then it wasn't. So, all right, man, listen, I got to bounce.
And that's an episode. Are you is Chick-fil-A at the door? So you're celebrating with Chick-fil-A right now?
No, McDonald's will be at the door.
Let's go. Good stuff.
McDonald's will be at the door. Let's see if there's a McDonald's at the door.
Okay, so I gave
Here you go, YouTube. YouTube gets a treat. McDonald's at the door. McDonald's at the door.
He really has to go.
There you go.
Bye,
Bye,
Luke.
guys.